Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you had a wonderful last couple of weeks and are ready to hit it now that we've got all the holidays out of the way for till Easter. So remember a couple of weeks ago, we ended up about halfway or about 2/3 of the way through how to give a wow feeling to your prospects and to your clients, and the fact that in today's world, are we a commodity or are we not commodity? Do people really believe that you're the best financial advisor out there? Do you offer products that nobody else offers? Do you offer solutions that nobody else offers? Do you offer service that nobody else offers, at least in their minds? We are a commodity. So in order to get people to come to us, we have to look different from every other person, every other competitor out there. We do that with the 21-point checklist, but you can't do that till they come into your office. And we can't get them to come to the next meeting unless they feel like, wow, this is something different. So that's why we're talking about wows. So score wow deliverables. It is a bit ironic, but one of the most useful tools for delivering personal service and attention is among the most impersonal, the internet. Countless sites exist that make it easier to research and deliver wows. From providing a client with information on a topic they're interested in, to finding a travel book that will enhance enjoyment of the country they will be visiting, the web provides an efficient way to make connections with and for clients. So what this is saying is what? To find out about your client, find out what their passions are, find out what they're interested in, and then we have an unbelievable tool to really give them a wow experience by showing them that you heard them, you know what they're passionate about, and you forwarded them an article they might be interested in if they're going to Portugal, on Portugal, or if they or send them a travel book in Portugal if they're going to Portugal, or whatever it may be. You have, it's so easy in today's world to give people wow experiences. Use online resources to fulfill wows. Here's an example, World Cup wow. Before the 2010 World Cup, I sent an email to a client who's a soccer fan and asked him if he was rooting for Germany or the United States. The client responded that he was rooting for the United States first, but would then root for Germany if the United States was eliminated. I went on eBay, found a jersey for under $50 for Franz Beckenbauer, who was a popular German soccer star in the 1960s. The client sent me back a story describing how he once met Franz and thought it was great that I had thought of him. See, again, couldn't have done that without the internet, but how soon before that client leaves this advisor? Let technology do the heavy lifting. Today, better communication comes from leveraging technology to create shortcuts for doing what you can do routinely. For instance, did you know that you can create an instant email by pushing a couple keys on your mobile device? Instant follow-up. Picture this. You've just had a great meeting with a client. You have a notepad full of thoughts and ideas to follow up. You'd love to tie it up with a quick wrap-up or acknowledgement to the client, but you're already late for your next meeting. By the end of the day, you have a half dozen of those notes, and you've done no client follow-up on the meetings. Guys, have anybody been in that situation before? Big day, want to get back to the client, but now by the end of the day, you got so many things. Now your choice is to spend time with the family or head to your office to send a client emails. What if you didn't have to do constant catch-up mode? What if you could send the follow-up nearly instantly after each meeting so fast that your clients have barely left the meeting and receive personalized notes from you? Guys, this is so easy to do in today's world of technology. And should you send a text or an email after every meeting? I don't care if it's with a prospect or a client. Should you send a follow-up? I want yays or nays, Ys or Ns. Got one Y. So we only have two Ys. Come on, guys. Okay, everybody's saying absolutely yes. So please do this. Using your mobile device, you can create more and a variety of follow-up emails that you can be pulled up with a few keystrokes, personalized and sent literally within a minute after leaving. So you just have them in your drafts, right? Or you could use LinkedIn to stay present. LinkedIn is a social, we all know about LinkedIn. Unfortunately, most of our clients are not on LinkedIn. If you're working with people who are retired, most of them aren't on LinkedIn. So instead, what you want to do is have a bunch of draft emails that you can choose from, and then just personalize a little bit, and then send it to your prospect or client after the meetings. So now, how to end on a high note, or ending on a high note with a wows. It happens. Breakdowns happen in every business practice. We all make mistakes. We all forget to get back to somebody. We all let something fall through the cracks. It happens. But what matters most is not the particular problem breakdown, but how you face and deal with the issue at hand. Indeed, an anti-wow, a truly dreadful experience, can often be transformed into a wow experience if the right course is followed. Be swift in your response. Engage. Don't avoid. Guys, or Missy, did I have a couple of major league problems happen to me when I was in personal production?
Absolutely.
Like tens and tens of thousands of dollars problems.
Yes.
And did I just leave them sit there, hope that the client wouldn't notice, hope they wouldn't say anything? How quickly did I jump on that problem?
Jumped on it immediately and dealt with it immediately.
Guys, and when I did that, when I brought the problem to the client instead of waiting for the client to discover the problem, guess how much it wasn't fun, but guess how much better it went? Guess how much the client gave me the benefit of the doubt? Guess how eager the client was to allow me to help them fix that problem? Also, just for me, guys, it's amazing. It's amazing, amazing. By addressing it immediately instead of letting it percolate, how much stress did that relieve me of? You know, I skydived. I was scared to heck skydiving. I begged them to take me back down without having to skydive. I did not want to go. But once I jumped out of the plane, guess what? What happened to all that fear? Boom. You know, when you're pacing back and forth, whether you want to jump in the cold pool, but when you jump in the pool, what happens to that cold? It goes away. Guys, just deal with it right away. It's so much better for you, and it's way, way better for the client. Be sincere with your explanation as to why the blunder occurred. Show results by devising a solution that will prevent the problem from happening again. Consider a small gift or gesture to address the inconvenience caused by the error. Guys, if you have a problem, deal with it now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, okay? Quick response. The CPA, after discovering an error on a tax return, drove 3.5 hours to personally deliver the corrected document to his client. He then offered to take her out to lunch. Not only did he respond quickly and sincerely, he managed to turn the anti-wow into a wow. In fact, the swift response demonstrated that the financial professional did not take his client's goodwill for granted. You know, as sure as rain, we make mistakes. You or someone else on your team can make a mistake. Turn that anti-wow into a wow. Bouncing back from the anti-wow. While the anti-wow resides, while the mistakes resides in the range of client experiences you want to avoid, how to do so isn't always straightforward. Even your firm's level of service is superior, things can go wrong. Or just not as right as you might hope it would happen. And sometimes it isn't necessarily what you've done, but what you haven't done that matters. Communication may be too infrequent, or perhaps the client's attention has wandered off and the client is no longer wowed by your firm. Whatever the cause, anti-wows actually provide excellent opportunities for catapulting from the negative end of the client experience back into the positive if you respond correctly. How to save at-risk clients. This is something we all need to know about. You know the client, he's a high-value platinum, but something has changed in the relationship. He is not returning emails or calls as quickly as before, if at all. You're concerned, maybe you're even very concerned. This relationship represents a substantial part of your business, and what's more, he greatly influences your marketplace. So, search and rescue. Search out high-value relationships in your book of business that fit this billing and face the truth. Acknowledge, so look in your book of business. See, of my top 25% of clients, are some of them not getting back to me as quickly as possible? Are some of them not quite as excited about me as they used to be? Find those people. Acknowledge that work needs to be done to resuscitate those relationships. Build a moat around this client relationship. Get it back to that robust state where they love you again, where you have confidence that client will not leave you for a competitor. Then find those people. Deploy a rescue plan. Conduct a wow audit whereby you huddle with your team, identify all the passions and interests of each of those clients, review and chronicle this personality style, this emotional dynamic, his or her preferred mode of communication. Ask, have we truly been delivering value to this client? What is their emotional state? What about the information at this stage? It's all about that. What do we know about them? What are their passions? What are they interested in? What are their concerns? Make a dossier on each one of those people. During discussions with your team, colleagues, manager, whomever's judgment you trust, maybe it's your spouse's, Ideas will begin to surface. Write them out and execute them with timeliness and accountability assigned to each idea. All hands are needed on deck to plan and experience or sequence a memorable experience to cultivate a more loyal client in the process. So make bad news good. You should always pursue a philosophy of do it right versus make it right later. But that is easier said than done. Of course, service blunders can be expected, but at the time when markets are uncertain and many clients are wary, you may handle problems the way you handle problems is more important than ever. The risk of loss is much greater when a client's psyches are fragile. However, addressed correctly with an effective service recovery plan, a blunder might be an opportunity disguised as dread. Like a broken bone being properly reset, an arm can come back stronger than ever. And guys, the thing is if the market crashes, how soon should you reach out to every single one of your clients? Within a day. Within a day. If the market's rocky, within a day. I mean, anything that is concerning to a client in general, don't just think it's going to go away. Address it, address it, address it. Consider the following service or lost trust recovery mantras. Overdue communication. If you haven't been communicating, overdo it to get back. Be transparent, not defensive. Fess up. I've taken actions to address the source of the breakdown. We've made a mistake. Here's what I'm doing to fix it. Communicate within the context of the mistake. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill or a molehill out of a mountain. Okay? And avoid a repeat. Make sure you don't make the same mistake twice. When responding, have an operationalized plan that you and your team can employ effortlessly. But above all, be forthright. No excuses, no excuses, no excuses. Show that you're moving forward. Demonstrate that you have an honest process that will ensure it doesn't happen again. So WOWisms to live by. WOW is delivered with passion. WOW is in the eye of the client, not you. Not what makes you excited. It's what makes that client excited. You got to know your clients. Not every single one is going to be excited by the same thing that excites you. Not every single one is going to be excited about what excites another client. Some are bicyclists. Some are motorcyclists. Some are runners. Some are avid walkers. Some have dogs. Some hate dogs. Find out what is important to them and make it a wow in their eyes. Wow is remarkable. Wow is unusual. It's something they've never experienced before or rarely experienced. It's emotional. It's surprising. It's customized to that client. It's memorable. It's achievable. Wow is the difference between you and all of your competitors. They're not going to come to you because they think you manage their money better. They're not going to come to you because they think you're some sort of genius. They're not going to come to you because you get some sort of great money manager. They know you're no better than anybody else, or you'd be not taking them on as a client. They want somebody who puts their concerns above their own. They want somebody who treats them like gold. This is how you do it. Wow takeaways. You've read the advice, heard the masters and learned. And guys, we have this document linked to this document, so you can download this document and go through it as often as you want to get ideas. Listening with a different ear allows you to find a wealth of clues about what animates your clients. Don't just listen to the facts and figures. Just don't listen to their retirement issues. Just don't listen to their investment issues. Listen to what interests them. What's their passions? And what will have most impact on them. Fostering a culture of wow not only drives clients' loyalty, but it also increases your chances of a quality client acquisition because they're going to brag about, if you wow them, they are going to brag about you. Oops. Fostering a culture of wow not only drives your client loyalty, but also increases your chance of quality acquisition. Make sure your team understands wow and provides that on a regular basis. Committing to a mindset of wow is much about the art, it's about science. That's why that guy across town who is a bonehead, who doesn't know anything about investing, but is unbelievably successful, is because everybody loves him. He's about the art of people, not about the science of investing. Guys, probably the two smartest guys I've ever met in 30 years of being in this business when it came to money management. Guess where they are now? Want to take a guess? Two of the smartest guys I've ever met in money management in the last 30 years that I've been in this business, guess where they are now? Take a wild guess. Mark's got it. Yeah, they're out of the business. Both of them are out of the, yeah, everybody's got it. They're out of the business. Why? Because they could not communicate. They could not communicate. They were more interested in investing than they were in people. Guys, you got to be more invested in people than you are interested in investing. They're out of business because they could not communicate to people. Don't be like that person. Imagineering is exercising the muscle. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. The ultimate care package. Another example, a financial professional had a client and mentioned that his son was being deployed to Afghanistan. He went online, found a care package delivery program through www.anysoldier.com, sent his client's son a care package. This was done without the knowledge of the parents. The son called his dad to tell him. The father was so grateful the relationship flourished along with the client's loyalty and financial professionalism. That's thinking outside the box. Know that there's never been a better time to fortify relationships in your business and improve your opportunity to gain great clients by wowing them. There's never been a better time. Why? Because are people getting better and better service today or worse and worse service today? Better and better wowing or worse and worse wowing? To go further with clients, look through the positions they take, literally and figuratively. Learn their passions, because it's what the knowledge of these passions is that the wow truly begins. Game plan review. In our analysis of wow masters, advisors who are fantastic at wow, we've made an important discovery. Improved client relationships aren't the only benefit to practicing the art of wow. Creating a business practice that regularly creates wow also creates a heightened sense of satisfaction in your firm's culture and delivers a miraculous result. Great people will want to become part of your team. So not only does it help you get clients, maintain clients, make you profitable, it makes the people who work with you happier about where they work. What's the value in that? Conducting initial, how valuable is that? Those of you that have ever lost an assistant, how valuable is it to have an assistant that never, ever, ever wants to leave you, knows that they could go no other place where they'll enjoy their job as much. So assemble your WOW team today. Make the team accountable for conducting initial WOW strength analysis, chronicling the team's unique assets. Ensure the passions of key clients, along with emotional dynamics, personal profiles, and communication preferences, are not only recorded in the CRM, but are readily accessible to all team members. Reviewing information when it comes in and leading brainstorming sessions at your weekly meetings, hopefully, or even daily meetings. Make sure handwritten notes are sent. Keep track of an established WOW budget. Keeping your track of your referrals are requested in the post-WOW. Now, easier doesn't make it, easy doesn't necessarily mean it's better. So all these things that we covered in the last 2 coaching calls here requires a lot of work. I think it's worth it. I absolutely think it's worth it. I think you can grow a fantastic business by doing these things. But I get it. Some of you are maybe not full-time as much as you were used to be. Some of you are don't have the kind of assistance and administrative team that you'd like. Some of you are not able to do these things. I think all those things that we've covered in the last couple of coaching calls are the best way to do it. But sometimes it's just too hard. So easier doesn't mean it's better, but are you better off doing something rather than nothing? Are you better off doing something rather than nothing? And if it's easy, are you more likely to do it? When they tell people who have never exercised before, do they tell them to go run a mile? Is that what they say? They never exercised before. They say, go run a mile. What do they tell people who've never exercised before? Walk down to the end of the driveway, grab your mail. Do that 3 or 4 days. Then walk to your neighbor's yard. Then walk to the end of the block. Then walk around the block. Just get started. So the reason I bring this up is we have a WOW system that's super easy, super affordable. When we go there, when we go to the manual right here, it walks through all the things you can do. And the nice thing is, even though it's easy, again, you can do this for less than $500. You can create a WOW experience for all of your clients, all your prospects, for less than $500. Let me just give you one. We gave you one example last time we talked, which is having a marquee, a little marquee out on the in your office or outside the door of your office says, "Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Welcome, Mrs. and Mrs. Robinson." I mean, that's a huge impact on people. Then when they come in, if you have a Keurig or some sort of coffee machine with lots of different flavors, You will then have a drink menu and say, what would you like to have? And then they'll do the drink menu. They'll say, I want a vanilla latte, or I want a chai tea, or I want a straight black coffee, whatever it may be. You'll give it to them, but here's how you create the wow. That's pretty wow. First of all, is that a wow experience? Compared to what your competitors do, is that a wow experience or not? When you go to bring your car in to get serviced and they have a crappy coffee machine versus a great coffee machine, how do you feel when they have a crappy coffee machine? How does that make you feel? Like I'm in a crappy gas station. When I go into a mechanic that has a fantastic coffee station, how do I feel? I feel like I'm in a luxury hotel. Does that make sense? Now, but here's how you can turn that from a wow into an ultra wow. You take their drink menu, and what do you do with it? Throw it away? What do you do with their drink menu? What do you do with their drink menu? You put it into their file. Why? Why do you put it in their file? Because the next time they come in, I'm going to say, if I remember right, Bob, you wanted a vanilla latte, and Mary, you wanted a chai tea. Is that right? How does that feel when I remember what they wanted? Now, they may not want those anymore today, but how does it make them feel when you guys, when you walk into the bar and the bartender knows what your drink is? When you walk into a restaurant and the server knows what you order? When you walk into your financial advisor's office and they know the drink that you ordered last time, what does it tell them about you? What does it tell them about you? That you're only about the money. I've told you the story, guys. If I go on a date with a girl and the only thing I talk about is sex, what does she know about me? If I'm an advisor and the only thing I do is talk about money, what do they know about me? The only thing I want is money, 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 money. It's these kind of little things. So yes, this is a simple thing. I mean, how much does a Keurig cost? How much does it cost to get a bunch of different flavors? It costs you nothing to print the menu. It's in the manual. It's in the manual how to do all these things. So that's just one type of experience that you can take and go from a wow to an ultra wow, even if you don't know anything about them except what they drink. Does that make sense? Is there any excuse for any advisor not to do just that one idea that's covered in this wow manual? What would be please tell me, what would be the excuse to not have a marquee on the front, that costs $15, $20 to put on the front, outside your door, and buy a Keurig with a menu that you could then know everybody's drinks and what they want? What would be the down? First of all, can everybody afford those? I want everybody to say that. Can everybody afford this? Anybody that's in this business, could they afford those two things? Yay or nay? If you can't afford those two things, you're in this business. Holy schmoly. So then everybody's saying yes. So is there any reason not? What would be the only reason not to do those two things? What would be the only reason not to do those two things? Nobody has a reason. I agree. There is no reason not to do. So please, I think the last two coaching calls, that wow manual, with the wow presentation we just went through, has all sorts of unbelievable ideas. But yes, they take money, they take time, they take creativity. Please do that. If you're able to invest, it will pay back in huge dividends. But yeah, if you aren't able to do that, at least invest less than $500 in your business using all the ideas we come up with in the wow manual to give your people a wow experience. Well, if you work from home, do you ever have people I've got several people saying they work from home. If you work from home, do clients ever come to your home? Or are you always going to their house? So if you work from home and they never come to your house, guess what you just have to do then? What do you have to do if you work from home and you go to the client's house? Are any of these inexpensive, easy ideas going to work for you? Nope. So guess what you're going to have to do? Do it the easy way or do it the hard way. So it's easier to work out of your home. It's cheaper to work out of your home. But as I found, anything in the working world, if something's easier and cheaper on one way, what's going to happen on the other way? It's going to be harder. It's going to be harder. So that's a good idea, Bob. Maybe a delivery service, but that's going to be a lot harder than just having a carrier in your office, right? It's just like with any type of marketing. You can do it the easy way, which is spend money. I like the easy way, so I always did seminars. I did workshops. That was the easy way. I could spend money on it. We did it the same way every time, so it's just like basically pulling a trigger every time we wanted to do a seminar, every time we wanted to do a workshop. Now, do we have? But we're spending like $4,000 to $5,000 every time we do that. Now, I didn't worry about that because I always got. And guys, we have ways to guarantee you get appointments every time you do that. But I get it. Not everybody wants to spend that kind of money on marketing. So, are there ways to market that don't cost a lot of money? Yeah, there are. We have like 37 ideas for you that all work. The problem with those ideas are what? If they don't cost money, they're going to cost what? Time and effort, elbow grease. So just like these wow ideas, if you're going to work out of your home, that's easier and that's cheaper, but that means you're going to have to do the things that we actually covered over the last couple of coaching calls that are going to require time and what? Effort. There's no effort to do a marquee or minimal effort to put in Mr. Robinson at the beginning or before the person shows up. That takes what? 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Getting their drink, 2 or 3 minutes. It takes very, very little time, very, very little effort. So it's easier and cheaper to have your office out of your home. But then you're going to have to do what? Spend more time and more effort if you're in your home. Less time, less effort if it's in your office. Does that make sense? For every yin, there's a yang. For every plus, there's a minus. So there's a lot of pluses to working out of your home. There's also minuses out of your working home. Many pluses for working at having an office. There's negatives to having an office. But just like we've been talking about with the wow, it has to be customized. The way you run your business has to be customized. If you're gonna work out of your home, you're gonna have to work twice as hard to create wow experiences to people. Does that make sense? Yay or nay? Yes or no? So I'm not saying it's bad to work out of your home or good to work out of your home. Bad to work out of your office, good to work out of your office. You have to leverage whatever strengths that you do have. Make sense? So continue on our journey of going through our 21-point checklist and making sure we understand why we're doing things in those scripts. Today, we're going to talk about titling. And titling is the first time, because up to this point, with all the non-financial things, they've all been, what kind of advisor would I be? A good advisor or a bad advisor if I didn't do this? Titling is the first time we're going to change it from me and start to steer it towards them. But with titling, do we go after the advisor with titling? Nope. Who do we go after? The institution that advisor works for. Do you see down here? So we had 7 things that we talked about where we said, what kind of advisor would I be? Good one or a bad one? Then we say, do you have a good financial institution or a bad financial institution? They're going to say bad. See how now we've covered 8 different things before we actually, next week, we'll talk about beneficiaries, steer it towards, okay, your advisor is what? Not good. Make sense? So this is a way that we'll start to steer it towards what kind of advisor will I be, move it. But even when we move it towards the advisor, we hit their institution before their advisor. Because are most people loyal to the institution or loyal to their advisor? Institution or advisor? So I or A. Are they loyal to the institution or are they loyal to the advisor? They're loyal to the advisor. So we're going to start with the institution first. That's right, Steve. Make sense? So I'm going to get out of here. And we're going to go to meeting process, 21-point checklist meeting, and we'll go to training video, and we're going to go to titling.
Well, you wouldn't care. You'd be a bad advisor.
Yeah, so so you forgive me for the last half hour?
No, this is good information.
Okay, good. So now we get into some of your investments, okay?
Okay.
So the first thing is titling. Now, when we looked at the titling of your investments, some of your accounts are titled, got it backwards here, joint with rights to survivorship. So joint means that you and your wife own it jointly. So when you go to the bank, do you both have to be there to talk to the banker?
No.
Do you both have to sign the checks?
No.
So joint means what?
Either one of us can do it.
That's perfect. That's exactly what we want to do.
And guys, let's recall the template that every single script has. The first thing I do is tell them that thing is good or bad. Power of attorney is good or bad. Property casualty is good or bad. Having ID theft protection is good or bad. Having a will is good or bad. Having jointly, good or bad. I tell them it's good. That's right, Steve and Mark. Good. We start out with good. So it always looks like we're bad. We're not saying, boy, and are there advisors that will, when they meet with a client, they're say, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, you can do better, they're bad. And when you just tell somebody who everything is bad, what do they think? I'm a little confused here. You're saying everything's bad, but I have a net worth of $1.5 million. So why are you saying everything's bad when I have a net worth? Seems like I could have done a lot worse. So do we want to be telling people things? No, we want to say, hey, there's good and what? There's bad. There's good and there's bad. And so we're saying, hey, they've done a good job having a joint.
Now, with rights of survivorship gives us a clue to what that means. It means if we die, how are they going to deal with the what?
Well, what are they going to do with what's the spouse?
The spouse or the survivors, right? So it says is with rights of survivorship. So it gives the right to the survivor. So if something happened to you, could Rochelle still deal with this account?
Oh, yeah.
Something happened to Rochelle, could you still do with this account? So is that a good thing to do?
Oh, yeah.
It's a perfect thing to do. That's awesome. That's the way a lot of people do it. And I noticed the kids' names aren't on here, which is good because my kids' names aren't on either because God bless them, but can there be divorces? Can there be bankruptcies? Can there be lawsuits?
Oh, yeah, all that.
And if that happened to them, whose accounts would be dragged into it?
These accounts.
These accounts. And we don't want, so good job. I don't have mine on, kids on there, you don't have your kids, so good job on that. So, but we do want to know,
No, I just told them what, good or bad for having joint survivorship without putting their accounts joint with their kid. Good. And I'm doing that on purpose, but it's another way for us to tell them that they're doing. I want to balance this with saying, now here's a great time. Here's the thing. Do I ever tell people, use the word, hey, you've done a good job here. Good for you. You did it right. Do I ever say that point blank to them? You've done great. That's right, Steve. They're smart and savvy. I'll actually tell them that. But do I ever tell them they did something wrong? No. They discover it for themselves. So see how if I start saying these things, they do things, and that's where a lot of guys, when they first come onto the system, they're going to say, I don't like attacking the other advisor. Well, neither do I. I never, ever utter a single phrase or sound that would attack the other guy. Because if I do that, they're going to defend their guy. So we never, ever say anything bad about them, but we'll say that they've done good things. So what are they going to think about me if all I do, any time they hear me say something point blank, I say they're good, but I never say anything bad about them? How do we feel about people who tell we're good, but we never say that you're bad, or you made a mistake, or you've done something wrong? How do they feel about that person? You like them. That's what we want to do. You like people who only tell you done well, only that you're smart, that you're savvy, that you've done things right. And I never tell you you've done anything wrong. You're going to like that person, and that's what we want. We want them to like us.
It goes to the kids if both of us, something had God forbid, it happened to us, right?
Right.
So how does the banker brokerage know who to give it to if something happened to both of you?
Well, it's in our will. So,
it's in your will, right? Yeah. Duh. And so the will goes through that probate process. Have you heard of probate?
Yep, you've heard of it.
Yeah. So how long does probate take here in Minnesota?
I'm not sure.
Do I really care what they say when I ask them, how long is, that's right, Steve, I don't, do I? I don't. Because if they say a month, does the script work? Yes. If they say 3 years, does the script work? Yes. It doesn't matter as long as they don't say 1 day. And 60,000 tapes I've listened to over the last 20 years, guess how many times somebody said 1 day? Most people say 3, 4 months, 6 months. That's what they'll say of them. That's 90% of people. Guess how many times I've heard that it takes a day? Never. I don't think I've ever heard, geez, probably once or twice that it took a month. Usually it's just at 3 to 6 months they'll say. But it doesn't matter what they say because the script will work perfectly. Now, the other question I have, remember, I always keep in mind, when I'm asking these questions, what percentage of people are going to answer them the exact way Jeff is answering me? Is Jeff just being nice? Is Jeff looking at the script and looking at what he's supposed to say? What percentage of clients are going to answer the exact way Jeff answers on all these questions? Yeah, almost. And Steve, you're right. Steve says 100%. And Steve does the scripts really, really well. And that's why when you guys, these scripts have been tested for 20 years. They've been tested tens and tens and tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of times. People will answer the exact way Jeff is answering if you ask the questions the way I'm asking there. That's the value of learning these scripts.
Sure, I'm guessing probably 2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months, yeah. It could be, if it's Prince and everybody's fighting for something and you didn't have a will, well then it might take years. But in your case, 2 or 3 months is probably more than what it would take, just simply because is yours as complicated as Prince's or pretty simple?
No, it's much more simple, I'm sure.
Yeah, so 2 or 3 months, so it takes a little bit of what?
A little bit of time.
A little bit of time. Now, your kids are busy. They got kids. They got jobs.
So now have I got Jeff to say going through probate takes some time? Did I tell him that or did he tell me that? He told me that. And do I care whether he says that the time is 3 months or it's going to take 3 years? No, I don't really care as long as he says it's going to take some time.
Have they ever dealt with anything like this before?
No.
So what professional might they hire?
I'm sure they'll hire an attorney.
An attorney, and they work for free?
No, they get paid.
They get paid. So it's going to cost a little bit of
time
and a little bit of
money.
But essentially, is that a big problem?
Okay, so a little bit of time, a little bit of money. But I always, and again, this is when I created the script, guess what people would say at that point? Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. I get it. It takes time and money, but guess where the kids are going to get it? The kids don't have it now, so there's time an issue. If the kids don't have the money now, is time really an issue? No, it's not. If the kids are actually going to pay the attorney, or is are they going to be reimbursed by their inheritance? So is money an issue? So time and money is not an issue. So I am going to have them go from saying, I knew that was going to be objection because I got that over and over and over. Yeah, I get that it's going to take time and money, but hey, the kids don't have it now, so time's not an issue, and they're just going to use my money to pay the attorney. So that's not a problem either. So time and money, yeah, it might cost a little time and money, but that's not a problem. So I know that's going to be an objection. So do I wait for them to say that, or do I overcome the objection before they bring it up? I overcome, that's right, before.
No, I don't think so.
Do they have the money right now?
No.
Do your kids have the money right now? So if it has to wait 2 or 3 months to get the money, is that going to be a problem? No. And as far as the attorney fees, what can they take that out of?
Just whatever they inherit.
Yeah, so is that really a problem?
So if I covered the objections that they have, yes, I did. I said, I get it. It's not a big problem. Time and money is not a big problem.
No.
But if we had our choice, and we could just give it to the kids, go right straight to them without time, without hassle, they would just get it, versus going through probate with a little bit of time and hassle and everything else. Would we rather them just get it, or do we want them to go through probate and all the hassle and time?
How many people say they'd rather go through the hassle and time? What percentage of people say, when I do it that way, I say, hey, yeah, I get it. Little time, little money, not a big problem, though, because they got the time, they got the money. But if they could do it without that, how many would want to do it without that? What percentage of people, out of the tens of thousands, 60,000 that we have recorded, 100,000 plus that have probably listened to over the last couple of decades, how many people said, no, I'd rather my kids go through probate? How many? Out of the almost 100,000 tapes that I've probably listened to. Has anybody anybody ever said I'd rather go through probate when I cover the objection that way? Overcome the objection before they bring it up. Of course, time and money is not a big deal, but if they could do it without that, would you rather do it without that? Everybody says, yes, I'd rather them do it without that. Do you see how we make sure we don't get into that problem where we have an objection?
Well,
If you had your choice.
yeah, we'd rather they just got it.
Yeah, and I've asked probably 100 people a year that question. Guess what everybody says?
They'd rather they just got it.
They'd rather they just got it. So
So now how many times has Jeff said they'd rather they just get it without going through probate? 3 times. Can he go back on that now? Can he go back on it? Yeah. That's right, Steve.
here's the thing. If you went and told your broker and your banker that you want the kids just to get it at your desk, guess what they do? They'd reach the
Why did I say broker? Why didn't I say advisor? What am I reminding them? Because in the last 7 non-financial things that we covered, that he's a salesperson, that he sold them investments. He's a financial salesperson. He's not an advisor, or he's a bad advisor. Because like I said, what kind of advisor would I be if I didn't cover these things? What if I said that, well, this isn't my job? What if I only said I only talk about things I sell you? I mean, you're looking for an advisor, you're looking for a salesperson. See how the first 7 things I covered, we're talking about getting them to realize my guy's not truly an advisor. So at this point, am I now going to call him an advisor, or am I going to call him what he is, which is what? A financial salesperson, a broker. Make sense?
The lower left-hand drawer, the same place they got your new account form on when you open the account,
Okay.
right next to it is a form that says that it will go directly to your kids. They say, put your kids' names here, sign it.
I always get this question. Well, Mike, what form are you talking about? I say, there's a form right next to the one that they actually pulled out. There's another form right next to it. Why didn't they pull that form? What form am I talking about, guys? Sure, it's right next to it. Why is that other form, why the form I'm talking about now right next to the one they pulled out? Because it's the same what? It's the same what? Form. It's the new account form. It's just when they filled out that new account form, they didn't fill it out the right way. Does that make sense? So everybody's like, well, what form are you talking about there? It's the exact same form they filled out. And yes, it was right next to the other one. It's just that they could have pulled that one out, said I made a mistake, pulled the one right next to it out and said, let's do it the right way, and done it the right way. Anybody not clear on that? Is that very clear? The form I'm talking about is simply the new account form, but filling it out correctly. Is there anybody that doesn't get that? Yeah, that's exactly well put. Didn't bother to do the simple task.
Presto Changeo now goes directly to the kids.
Okay.
So how much time did that take?
Back it up.
None, really.
How much hassle was it? Account form on when you open the account.
Okay.
Right next to it is a form that says that it will go directly to your kids. They say, put your kids' names here, sign it. Presto Changeo now goes directly to the kids.
Okay.
So how much time did that take?
None, really.
How much hassle was it?
None.
None. How much cost?
I don't think it cost anything.
No. So, when I grew up, my mom always said, do things right the second time. Forget about the first time.
No, they want you to do things right the first time.
And why?
It's just easier. It's less hassle. It's less time.
It is.
Less trouble.
Yeah, it ends up being all of those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, why do you think it wasn't done right the first time if it's that easy?
I guess.
Have they already told me that it would be, for the broker to do it with no time, no money, no hassle, to do it the right way? Have they told me that? Have they already told me that? Did Jeff say that, or did I say that? Did Jeff tell me to take no time, no money, no hassle to do that? Jeff did. Also, did you see how I pantomimed going to the drawer and pulling it out? It's things like that, guys, that make the meeting seem longer or is a little bit more entertaining. By me pantomiming, pulling that it's more interactive. That's right. It's more interactive. I do those things on purpose because if I just drone on for an hour and a half, what's the likelihood I'm going to lose them? So do I change my intonation? Do I change the speed at which I talk? Do I change the volume do I talk? Do I use my hands? Do I pretend like I'm doing something with my hands? Yes, I do all those things on purpose to be more interactive, right, Steve?
I guess I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I mean, are we mind readers?
No.
Do we know what was going on in their life that day?
Okay, so I asked, why do you think you didn't do it right then? And guess what everybody says? Well, 90% of people say when you say, well, why didn't you do it right then? What do they say? What did Jeff say? I'm not sure. That's exactly what they say. So then do I go on and explain to them why they did it? Or do I agree? I don't know either. I can't read minds. So let's kind of walk through this together. Let's discover this together. Does that make sense? Don't tell them. Walk through it so we can discover this together. I am not going to attack their guy.
Done right the first time if it's that easy.
I guess I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I mean, are we mind readers?
No.
Do we know what was going on in their life that day?
No.
So
No.
I'm not sure either. And we'll get it fixed for you. It does take about a month to get it fixed because obviously we're gonna have to change some things and get paperwork back and forth. But we'll get that fixed for you. But now, financial institutions, do they like to have a lot of money in their accounts, or do they like to have a little amount of money in their accounts?
Now I'm going to use Socratic selling here. I'm going to walk them through. Okay, is A bigger or B is bigger? Do financial institutions want more money in their account or less money in their accounts? Okay, then I go to the next one. Is B or C greater? Is D or E greater? Is E or F greater? Okay, so you've said all of the next letter was always greater than the previous letter. Well, then obviously when I get to G, do I have to argue about whether G is greater than A or not? If I've said B is greater than A, C is greater than B, D is greater than C, E is greater than D, do I have to even argue about A to G? No. So watch how I did that. So I just said financial institutions want a lot of money in their accounts or a little bit of money in accounts. What does every single person say? A lot. Duh.
Accounts.
No, more is better, a lot.
More is better, right? Do they like to have it a longer period of time or a shorter period of time?
Longer.
Longer. So they like lots of money for longer or not very much money for shorter?
No, lots of money for longer.
Yeah. So when your accounts, if they go through probate, what happens to those accounts? Do you think that the banks, if they know that you have passed away, are they going to allow you to people to get in there and fiddle around with them, or the probate court's going to say to do what with those accounts?
Just freeze them for the time being.
Just freeze them for the time being, right? So
this brings up something. I'm mentioning the banks here. Where do most people have their money? In qualified or non-qualified? Qualified. So what if they have $1.5 million in their IRA? Does this apply? Does titling apply to an IRA? Yea or nay? No, they don't. It doesn't apply to an IRA, right? You don't put it. It does not apply to an IRA because an IRA is not going to be titled jointly. So if they have $1.5 million in their IRA, but they only have $25,000 in their bank, will I still do this? Script. Yea or nay? Y or N? Yes, yes, yes. Exactly, Tom. Yes, I will. Why? Because an advisor only talks about things he's paid on, or the advisor helps the client with everything financial. Everything financial. So I will still do it because should their advisor have helped them with the titling of their bank, even though they don't get compensated on it? Should they, or yes or no? If they were truly an advisor, financial advisor means what? I'm not talking about a financial salesperson. I'm talking about a financial advisor. An advisor says, I will advise you. It's not, I will advise you only on things that I sell you. It's fiduciary. That's right. Fiduciary.
Why would your broker, why would your bank allow you to park the money there during probate?
No, so they can hold it longer.
And why would they?
Now, did you say, did I attack the institution? No, I kind of said, hey, why would the financial institution do you a favor? I didn't say it that way. I said, why would the financial institution allow you to park it there? Why would the financial institution allow you to park it there? Why would that financial institution do the favor to you to allow you to park it there. See what I'm saying there? Am I attacking that financial institution, guys? No, I'm actually saying, that institution is doing you a favor. I'm doing it that on purpose so they can say, well, that institution isn't doing me a favor. They're making money on me when I'm there. Don't tell me they're allowing me to park it there. They're making money on me when I'm there. See how I want them to start to get a little defensive against that institution. Does anybody not get what I'm saying there? Yeah, that's right. It's a backhanded compliment. So they can say that they're not doing me a favor. I want them to kind of get a little snippy and tell me they're not doing me a favor.
They like to hold it longer.
Oh, so they can continue to make money.
Yeah. So they're making money now on you, because you're alive, and things are free or not free.
No, they're not free.
Free. But they're also concerned about making money not only while you're alive, but while you're in the probate process.
Well, we're dead.
Yeah.
See, do I say that we're not all in it to make money? No, we all have to make a living. Am I saying, I'm an angel, I don't get paid on anything. I do all these things for free. I do this as a charity, a service to mankind. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, hey, everybody's got to get paid. But what do you think about somebody who wants to get paid and does something on purpose to you so they get paid on when you're dead? How many people are happy about that? How many people are going to argue about that? Did somebody left something out on purpose to make money on you while you're dead? See, that's the thing that we're doing here. We're saying that we're not saying fees are bad. We're saying doing things on purpose to get fees when you're dead. Now, that's bad. That's what we're doing here.
Then do you think they're going to call the kids and say, hey, you know what, sit tight. It'll take about 3 months, and we're just going to shoot that check out to you? Or do you think during that 2 or 3 months they're going to be calling them up and romancing them?
Well, I'm sure they're going to romance them.
And why would they want to romance them?
Oh, they want the kids to stay there.
And why do they want the kids to stay there? Because you're right.
They can keep the money longer.
And they're interested in keeping the money longer so they can
make more.
Yeah. So we're not certain.
Did I tell Jeff that they purposely fill out the form wrong to make more money on them? No. I'm making them, Jeff, tell me.
Why the wrong form was filled out? If it's right next to the new account form, if it's simple and easy, we said it was simple and easy or hard?
No, it's simple and easy.
So we're not certain why they didn't fill out the right form, but we did find 2 reasons why they might have filled out the wrong form. And what are those 2 reasons?
Well, they wanted to make more money.
Yeah, while you're alive and
dead.
And also on who else?
The kids.
Yeah. So we'll get it taken care of for you, but do you see how that could have been?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get that taken care of for you, and then that way joint survivorship is perfect, but we'll also help you have it bypass probate for the kids.
Okay.
Again, no cost or anything, no hassle. It's just very, very easy to do. It's just simple. It's too bad it wasn't done right the first time. It says it has to be done right the what?
Well, the second time around.
The second time around, yeah. So
have I made it? So you see, do I really care about the problem? Do I really care if Jeff cares about the problem that it isn't titled correctly? No. What's the problem here? That it wasn't titled correctly? That I'm gonna be a hero and fix it for them? And I've seen that where guys do. They get off track and they think, hey, look, here's a problem here. I'm gonna fix it for you. Here's a problem here. I'm gonna fix it for you. If that's what you do, does that get you anywhere? No, because who else can fix that problem? If they go back to their advisor, they go back to their banker and say, listen, I want this to go to my kids and bypass probate. How many of our competitors would know how to do that? All of them. And did we get anything? No. So this is about getting them to understand that the advisor's institution had them fill out the form wrong to make money on them while they're dead and to buy time so they can trap their kids into working with them too. Because if they had done what the client wants, which is to bypass probate, they wouldn't have been able to make money on them while they're dead, and they wouldn't have been able to trap their kids. So that's why they fill out the wrong form. But did I tell them that, or did Jeff discover that? And did Jeff answer in any way different from any other client would answer? Was Jeff just being nice? Was he just rolling with me? Was he reading the script and said, Jeff, you got to say this after I ask this question. You got to say this after I ask this question. No, he was answering the exact, and again, Steve is saying no, because Steve does these scripts right, and he's seen the clients say exactly what they're supposed to say. I invented, guys, this is like back in 1997, I invented a script and predicted what people would say almost 25 years in the future. Yeah, it's like magic. please learn these scripts if you want clients to say these things. And if the client says these things, guess what they do? They move the money afterwards. So we're kind of at the end of the call here, and I'm going to bring up we were doing script calls after these coaching calls. We were doing script calls after these coaching calls. I've had a lot of people ask if we could kind of weave the script calls into, maybe spend a little bit more time on these scripts during the coaching calls, on the second half of coaching calls, because Mondays are a busy morning for everybody, and a lot of people, and because those script calls are required to be live, they can't listen to them. Could we just incorporate the script calls and go into these scripts a little bit more in depth on the regular coaching calls? So that's what we're not going to do the script calls anymore because they're not recorded, and people have busy Mondays and aren't able to maybe be on those calls live because they've got to go do other things. So we will be going into these scripts a little bit more depth, a little bit more in depth in the second half of the calls on the regular call time and not doing the script calls. That said, if anybody has a question, everybody wants a tape review. Guys, do you think I like talking about the theory of selling and the theory of why we're asking questions and the theory of these scripts? Do you think I like it? Does it sound like I get excited, or does it sound like I get bored when I talk about these things? I love this stuff. Mark says I sound bored. Do I sound bored, guys? Yeah, Mark. So I love talking about this stuff. If you guys ever have a question, a concern, you don't know why we're asking something in the script, or it didn't work right with the client, or whatever it may be, an easier way to memorize it, please get on my calendar. I'd love to talk to you so we can work through these things individually. But I want the most people possible to learn how to do these scripts, so we're going to just actually do these, go into a little bit more depth on the regular coaching calls so that we don't have those script calls that aren't recorded. Does that make sense to everybody, or does anybody have a problem with that? Is everybody okay with that? Say yay or nays. So we'll probably spend an extra maybe 5 or 10 minutes on each of these scripts that we would normally spend on the coaching call, which is, but I'm here if you have questions or concerns afterwards. I'd love to talk to you about the theory of this stuff and why we do it. Make sense? I appreciate all you guys. Have a great rest of the day, great rest of the week. We'll talk to you all next Monday. Thanks, everybody.
One quick reminder. I'm just going to jump on real quick. Jerry and Dan are actually going to be out of the office this week, but Nate is standing by along with many other marketers at ECA for any help that you need, or case design or illustration. So business as usual, just feel free to reach out to them. But just a reminder that Jerry and Dan won't be in. So please reach out to Nate, or just let the front desk know that you need some help or some illustrations, and they'll get you over to someone. So thank you guys so much.
And we're a backstop too. So if you're we're a backstop here too. So if you're not able to get a hold of Nate, get the answers you want, whatever, give us a call, and we will get it figured out for you. All right, thanks everybody.
That's it.
Have a great rest of the week.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.